You need to know what you want to achieve, where you're going, who you're targeting, and so on.
Hi! Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back.
Where you are getting the opportunity to come along the journey with us to our financial freedom. We are building a social media marketing agency and we're going to document the whole process.
Yes, this is the very first video of our process. So we're going to start off and you're going to be with us along this journey.
Yeah. So what do we do first? Now, a lot of people think that the first thing you have to do is pick your business name. Like, what am I going to call it? Right?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of confusion with that.
Yeah,
so
we thought that as well, right? So we were thinking like, let's start off with a business name. But then as we started thinking about it, we realized that might not be the best place to start. So what did we end up doing?
Yes, I would say we started off with a roadmap.
Yeah.
We basically listed off the things that we have to do to build a business, or at least what we think we have to do. So we have a list of things that eventually we're going to cover through the videos. And should we maybe start having...
Yeah. Let's dive into it. So, I mean, on this roadmap, just to give a bit more context, it's just you're thinking about all the things that you're going to need to do to get set up, right? To get your first customer. And we're just going to take you through that list right now. So what do we have on the list?
Right. So we start off with obviously finding a brand name. Second, we get the brand strategy that includes the mission, the vision, purpose, tone of voice, and values.
Okay, so let's just talk about a couple of those things before we dive into the other things, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about the brand strategy. So what's the importance behind the brand strategy?
Well, the brand strategy basically set the foundation of your brand.
Yeah. And of course, you got the name of the brand as well. That's the thing that people know your company by. So that's very important. And you don't need to overthink it.
Yeah.
You don't need to overthink it, but you want to have something that's easy to pronounce, and people are gonna, when they hear it, they just think of the work that you do.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we got on the list is target audience research, and then we've got brand. Did you say brand identity before, or we talk about brand strategy? It's brand identity. So we talked about brand strategy. So it's brand identity. Then we have the logo, which goes along with that. Typography, color palettes, photography stuff, and assets that go along within that cell there. What about other things that we got on the list?
We got website. Obviously, you don't have to do a very complicated website. You can have a landing page. You can have a very simple page that you describe what you do, your offerings, and so on. Something simple just to get started, and then eventually you can get into more something more sophisticated.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the offerings, which is probably the most important thing. Like, what are you selling? You need to know this, because you can't go to people and say, hey, I've got a business. Okay, what does a business do? What do you want to talk to me for? So you have to define what your offering is before you actually go out there. And that's something that's going to continuously change, right? Because you might create an offering, you bring it out in the world, but you realize that people are not really taking. They're not really wanting that offering as much as they want something else. They might even tell you what they want, and if you have the ability to provide, then you can kind of develop a new offering based on what the customers are saying.
Yeah, and I would say also there's other things that eventually with time can change, like your mission, your vision. Eventually when the business grows or evolves through time, you probably have to go through that again and revisit it. So don't worry too much. Just get what you have now in mind, then you can always go back to it.
Yeah, exactly. What else we got in here? So we've got pitch deck, right? So this is something that we really want to take you along this journey when we build it out, because I think a lot of people struggle with sales and actually presenting their offering. And I find that it's a lot easier when you have almost like a script. Today, most sales are done online, right? Most sales, especially if it's like a low ticket item, you can just call up somebody, have a virtual meeting, Zoom, Google Meets, Teams, and you can just flash up your pitch deck. But of course, we want to keep it short. But the point of selling with a pitch deck is that it kind of prompts you with what you need to ask the customers, with what you need to show to them. And it also creates a visual in the customer's mind as well.
Yeah, agreed. So after that, we have to set up our social media accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be kind of weird
we're not having it, right?
That.
Yeah.
So we thought to focus mainly on Instagram and LinkedIn, as we have something in mind for our target audience. So that we think that could be the right
that might change. That might change,
yes,
depending on where our customers are located. So we have an idea. We've done a little bit of research, but we're not 100% sure. But as we go, we have to be flexible, right? So that might change.
Yes. So for the last two things, we have the client onboarding questionnaire, or like a question just to have, once you decide, you and the potential client, to work together, to collaborate, then I think it's worth to have something that welcomes your client. And just
we say questionnaire, but it's not a question. It's almost like a setup. So it's like welcome on board, and we're sort of giving them the welcome pack. We're telling them what they can expect working with us, and giving them a bit like a roadmap. Work with us for X number of weeks, and you're gonna start seeing this. What we're going to be doing for them. So we put on, define it as a questionnaire, but there's so much that goes behind it. But
eventually
we're gonna show you that. Yeah. And then the final thing that we're thinking about is like some sort of contract. So the kind of work that we're doing, in a lot of cases, you do the work and then get paid after you do the work. So just to protect ourselves, we want to have some contracts in place. Also as well, we're working with people's businesses, so we also want to make sure we have something that kind of outline exactly what we're doing for their business. We're all in agreement, and we're also using different content as well. So just to kind of show that we're thinking about like the legality of things. We're not just kind of going for it and just like on a whim. We're trying to think of like all aspects of what's involved in doing this.
And also I want to add that sometimes you think that a contract is just to prevent things like against you, but it's for both you and the client. So it's always good to have it, even if it's a basic one page.
Yeah, exactly. And also there's like loads of tools out there that can help you do this sort of stuff. So I don't have any legal background. I have no idea how that word looks, but I know that it is important, especially when you're dealing with other businesses. But there's so many different places where you can go to actually meet, and it shouldn't be too costly as well, given that you have a lot of people like us doing a bit of a side hustle as well. So they do their legal job in the daytime, but then in the evening they try to do a little bit extra work, or in their spare time they do a little bit extra work. And you have all that brain power for really a reasonable price. And also we've got technology as well that can actually help us create these documentation. So that's the roadmap. I think this is how we like to work. We want to have a plan.
I was going to say that, like, it's something that is not set in stone. No one told us that that's how you do it. That's how we like to do it. We're not expert just yet. So
learning as we go.
We learn it as we go, and we probably there's some mistakes here. We don't know. We're probably gonna find out at some point.
As a matter of fact, if you see anything, like, just comment down below and say, hey guys, have you thought about this?
Sure.
Right, so we're gonna get cracking, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.